G'day, FightView360 fans. It's your old mate, Big J, Jason Fletcher, and today we have the distinct pleasure of talking to one of Australia's most prominent female boxers, Shannon Shotgun O'Connell. Shannon, thank you so much for joining us on the channel here today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's a real pleasure. We've actually been chasing you down for a little bit of a while, but we finally got there, so absolute pleasure to have you on the channel. So, we'll get straight to it. The announcement, our previous video concerning yourself and one Ebanie Bridges for the IBF Bantamweight title. It's going to be official very soon. You must be chomping at the bit for this fight.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been chasing this fight since before Ebanie even won it. When that fight got announced, we wanted to be made mandatory to fight the winner. Obviously Ebanie won, so that's why we're chasing her. If Roman had won, we would be chasing her. So, yeah, I'm so keen. It's taken a long time, but we got there. Yeah, definitely, because you've got a very solid record of 23-6-1. That is correct. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, good. I did my research well. So, you've been in there with some of the best fighters. The women's boxing has produced, especially of this country. Diana Prozac. You've also been in with how do you say Choi's full name properly?
Hwang-mi Choi.
Hwang-mi Choi. You've been in there, with a lot of women fighters. Bianca Almier. You had your excellent battle last year with Shanika Johnson. That was easily the fight of the night on the Mundine Zarafa card. Stole the show, without a doubt. I thought that was a good, crisp, clean fight. I thought that was really, that was a really outstanding performance by both of you. Personally, I love that fight. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
So with the Ebanie fight, what weaknesses do you see with her? Where would you like the fight to happen, or what's the possibility where could it happen? And what do you know so far about that historic fight? Because if this happens, it'll be hopefully the biggest Aussie women's fight so far in Australian boxing history.
Yeah, we obviously want it to happen in Australia. It's an all Aussie, whether or not she's based in the UK or not. It is an all Aussie fight, so it would be big for Australia to have it here. Obviously she's going to want it over there, so I've just got to sit back and leave it to Maddie Rose and Eddie Hearn to come to an agreement. If not, it will go to purse bid. I personally, I hope it's here, but I don't care. They could put us on in China, and I'm still going to fight her.
Obviously the preference would be here because you being a Queenslander, Ebanie being a New South Welshman, state of origin, there you go. Sells itself.
Yeah, I can get one back for the women's team.
Considering the women's team got belted by the New South Welshmen, yes. Yeah. And the under-19s also got belted. So, we need a couple back. So,
yeah. And
nothing sells better to Australians, or especially Queensland and New South Welshmen, than the state of origin themed anything. Doesn't matter what it is. No. So, what sort of style or what sort of weaknesses do you see in Ebanie's game? Because, she's not even 10 fights in. You've got 3 times the amount of experience. Obviously, you're going to be the heavy favourite for this fight. Where do you think Ebanie's going to go wrong and you're going to capitalise on it?
I haven't, I'll leave that mainly up to my coaches, but personally, by watching her, what I see is, she's tough, she walks forward, she's quite slow, her punches they're not sharp and crisp. People say she's heavy-handed, but I don't see that she's really hurt many of her more recent opponents. Even Beck Conley, I've watched that, and she was in the fight right up until she got caught, which is better than I've seen Beck do against other people. Including Sky Nicholson. I don't think she even landed a glove on Sky. So, she's one-dimensional. I guess that's the best way I can put it. She's one, and I guess my amateur experience, my 30 pro fight experience, I'm not one-dimensional. I don't just have one style. I can adapt. Even as an amateur, I travelled around the world when I didn't even know the coaches in my corner. You don't know who you're fighting until the draw happens, and then the next day you're fighting someone else, and you just have to adapt to what you've got to do right then and there, and I've got that ability. I don't believe, she's very one-dimensional.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. And do you actually like Ebanie? But get away from the weigh-in stuff, which I don't pay any attention to. Okay, she can do what she likes. But
yeah,
are you a fan of what Ebanie's doing for women's boxing?
Absolutely not. I mean, I don't know her. I've never actually met her, so I don't know if that's all for camera. I don't know, because you get some people that you're like, they're a dick on the camera, but then they're really nice. So I don't know. I've never met her, but I don't like what she's doing. I don't like what she's about. I don't like her morals. I don't like what she's doing to our sport. That people like me, like Susie Ramadan, like Dinah Prazic, like Erin McGowan. We all busted our asses for years, and really with no money and no recognition to gain respect in the sport. I mean, that's just the Australian ones. Worldwide, there's so many of these girls that have busted themselves for nearly nothing to gain respect in this sport, and I feel like she's taking that away by doing the things that she's doing. I also saw a video of her basically saying she grew up in her 20s with around strippers and bikies and things like that, and it was horrible. I won't use the language she used, but it wasn't nice. But now I'm like, okay, so for me, you grew up in your 20s. Well, that was a choice, because when you're in your 20s, you've got a choice who you're around. But also, if you're saying that was horrible and that was shit, why are you now coming and acting like a stripper?
No.
Like, I mean, if that's what you think is good, then that's fine. But don't put them down and then go and act like one.
Fair.
Whereas, I actually grew up around drug addicts and all sorts of horrible things as a kid, like as a young kid. And, I mean, there's not a chance I've done everything I possibly can to give my kids a better life, show them respect, show them that if you work hard, doing the right things, that you can succeed.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, yeah, we voiced our opinions on Ebanie on the channel more than once. So, getting away from it. So, if you are successful in getting Ebanie, which I believe you will, beat her, where would you like to go next? What's next on the cards?
Well, I'd love to unify. I know there's a lot of talk about who the best female in Australia is. There's numerous times that we've tried to get the fight with Susie Ramadan. So there's that argument of who's the best in Australia. There's never ever been a unified champion. So
in women's, no, there hasn't.
No, so I want to unify. I mean, I want them all, but just to start off with, I want to unify. So I'd love to fight either Jamie Mitchell or Luna Avila, Dina Thorson. I'd love to fight any of them, so then I can unify and then obviously go from there. That way I'm really stamping my authority on being the best ever female in Australia.
Absolutely. Dana Thorsland's an interesting one because she beat April Adams back a while back. I don't know how many years ago that was, but that was when she was a super bantamweight, I believe.
No, she was she was super bantamweight. Now she's bantamweight.
Yeah. So that was a few years back. So get her one back for that. Out of all the three girls, Jamie, Dina, and I can't pronounce the Mexican lady's name. Apologies. Which one do you think's the best one out of all three? I'm tipping the Mexican.
I actually think the Mexican, Julian Luna Avila.
Yep.
I think that she's the best. She's tall. She's got a really long reach. They're two things that make any sort of fight a bit harder. The other girls, I think I'm probably on par with height-wise with Dina, but I'm quite a bit taller than Jamie Mitchell and Ebanie. So I think the Mexican, I think the WBC champ, she's probably the better in the division, but her and Dina are up there. They're the two ones that will bring anyone a challenge.
Fair enough. So who's your favourite female boxer and why?
Katie Taylor. Because I just there's nothing about Katie that you can't love.
Yep.
I remember I was at World Championships in 2010 and she fought the American girl Queen Underwood.
Yep.
And it was like the best female fight up to that point anyone had ever seen. Like, I'm pretty sure Katie even got dropped in the fight and then got up and just fought as hard as she possibly could and come out and won. And that was I think that might have been the final. It was either the final or the semi-final. It was amazing, and I've been a fan since then. So 2010 World Championships in Barbados, they were.
Yeah. And her fight against Amanda Serrano.
It wasn't amazing.
How can you top it? I don't think you can.
Yeah, no.
No. So, in your opinion, I ask every female boxer this, and the opinions are always varied, and that's fine. 3-minute rounds, yeah or no?
I mean, I don't know. To be honest, I would do them. I'm more than happy to do them. I'm always fit enough to do 3-minute rounds, but and my style, I guess, obviously would suit 3-minute rounds more because I'm not a pitter-patter puncher that wants to run around. So I want to sit and box and not be so rushed. But, I believe that the WBC did all these studies and, it sort of all makes sense. Like, women recover from concussions slower and that sort of thing. So I think, well, maybe, I'm for those reasons, I'm happy with what we do. Probably 12 twos would be better than 10 twos. But I think
agree with
the 3-minute round, the 2-minute round thing, to me, it makes sense if you read the studies that they've done on them.
Yeah, I agree with that, which is why I find it puzzling that in the MMA the women do exactly as the men, and they're getting kicked in the head, which is even worse. So
yeah, but I mean, even look at we're not the only sport. Like even tennis, like they do 3 sets compared to 5. I guess there's reasons behind all of that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, pretty much every sport bar MMA, the women do it different to the men. I'm pretty sure that's that's pretty on par. Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess as well, the other thing you've got to look at is, Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor, I would assume I don't know facts, but I'm assuming that's the biggest ever female paid fight.
It is. It was, yes.
Well, you compare that to the biggest ever male paid fight, and, well, why should we do the same distance?
Yeah, I agree.
It literally doesn't compare.
No, I mean, you got Floyd and Conor throwing around $100 million, and Katie and Amanda didn't even break 10. So I'm pretty sure, I think that was $8 million, that fight.
I have no idea.
Something like that. It's on the channel. It's there. Anyway, so moving on. So I'm going to run some fights by you, and I'd like to get your predictions. So Chris Shields versus, I've got to say these names right, Savannah Marshall.
I'm going to go for the upset, which I don't even really know if it's much of an upset, but I'm going to go Savannah Marshall.
Yep. I think a lot of people are, and I don't believe it would be an upset if she won. So that's just my opinion. Okay. Michaela Mayer versus Elisa Bumgardner.
Michaela Mayer.
Okay, Mayer. Yep. If this happens, let's just say it does, Jamie Mitchell, Shannon Courtney rematch? Jamie
Mitchell.
Yeah, easy. Yeah, this is getting interesting. Charlie versus Zoo, and why?
Well, I can't. There's not a chance I'm going against Tim. So I just believe that he's hungry and he wants it.
Fair enough.
Charlo probably is going to underestimate him a bit even.
Yeah, that would be his biggest fault, if he does that. I've said that if Charlo doesn't take Tim seriously, Tim will take advantage of that. So I've said that on the channel more than once. So, I mean, he can't sit there and think Zoo's going to be an easy fight because it won't be.
No, and I mean, even the whole pretending he doesn't know his name and that, that's rubbish.
Oh, he was just doing that to stir the pot. He knows exactly who he is.
Of course he does.
Yeah, I said that. I mean, he knows.
To be honest, let's be real. If you don't know the last name Zoo, then you don't know boxing.
Exactly. He was just doing that to stir the pot, but that's okay.
Yeah.
So, but at 154, Charlo is an absolute beast of a man. He's beaten everyone. He's knocked them all out. So I look forward to that fight.
Yep.
So back home, what do you think George can do differently to get over Haney?
You know what? That's actually a really hard question. But as much as everybody wants to sit there, and I heard on your thing, George has to bash him type thing.
Pretty much.
Well, I guess he has to take that, but I don't believe that Haney's going to let that happen. It's not going to go, okay, well, George wants to fight, so let's fight. Haney's going to box, and if George tries to do more, then he's probably going to walk onto more.
True.
Because Haney's extremely skilled and no one can take that away from him.
No.
I think the difference being when George fought Lopez is that George had the skill.
Definitely.
And Lopez came to fight.
Yeah, and Lopez was getting the worst advice in the world in that corner. So everything.
Yeah, I remember sitting there going, all he's hearing is, why is he still here? I'm like, wow.
Yeah,
because they didn't knock him out.
I felt very sorry for Lopez because everything that could go wrong for him did.
I believe he had a really bad lead up as well.
He did.
But I mean, that happens. I've also had bad lead ups to fights, but that happens. It's never an excuse that you can sort of say after the fight. And as much as I'm an Aussie, I'd love to see George win again. Haney's just a different level.
He is a different, but I have confidence. I really do have confidence that George is just going to say, you know what, bug it. I'm going to get hit 5 times if I can lay one on him. So
yeah, to be honest, I think you'd much rather see George even get dropped swinging than sitting back and what if? Like, yeah. I mean, I'm the same. I'd rather get knocked out trying than not trying at all.
Yeah, he waited for the counter far too much in that first fight because he was just trying to bait him in, and Haney wasn't falling for it. Haney was just jab, hold, jab. Haney's very smart, as you said. He's for someone so young. I mean, he's only 23. He's a young man. He knows exactly what he's doing. So
yeah, and I mean, as much as people go, oh yeah, George is going to be a different person. George is going to do this. George is going to bully him. Well, Haney's not going to allow that. So it's not like Haney's going to go, oh, okay. Oh, that's how it's going to go. No, Haney knows that George is going to try and do more. So it's at that level. I'd like to see him win again. I really would, but I don't know.
Yeah, well, they'll have to prove that in the ring on October 16th. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like every fight, they have to prove it in the ring. Like, you know, no one can confidently say that you're going to sit there and belt Ebanie from pillar to post. Right?
No, absolutely not.
You have to prove it in the ring. I mean, you've got the massive advantage.
I've read so many comments about even with me and Ebanie, Shotgun's going to knock her out in 2. No, I'm not. Like, that's ridiculous. Obviously, if it's there, I'll take it. But people are saying it like, I mean, obviously, they're just people that are supporting me. But, I mean, I know it's going to be a good, hard fight. I know that.
I'm predicting...
I'm definitely prepared for a good, hard fight, and it'll be great that way.
Oh, yeah, I'm going you by UD, but I don't see you belting Ebanie. I think you're going to completely box her ears off and outwork her, but I don't see the knockout. So
yeah,
that's just me personally, because Ebanie proved how tough she was against the Shane Courtney fight. She can take a punch. So
yeah, and a headbutt.
And
not that I plan on doing that.
No, but yeah, I mean, she proved her worth in that Shannon Courtney fight. So absolutely. So Triple G versus Canelo 3. Canelo. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going with I think Triple G is too old to beat Canelo at this stage. If he was 5-10 years younger, that'd be a different story.
Look, I thought that the first fight, I thought Triple G won. Second fight, Canelo won.
Yeah.
Quite, easily. So I just think it just gets worse from there.
Yeah, I mean, what Triple G is like a month younger than I am. He's 40, so
yeah.
Yeah. So,
hey, there's nothing wrong with 40-year-olds. I'm nearly 40.
Yeah, well, you're not yet. Enjoy it while you've got it. I'm 40 and I wish I was 20 again.
I'm actually 40 the week before Tim fights in Vegas, so might go a week early.
Oh, yeah, sure. Treat yourself. Why not? Right. So on Susie Ramadan's return, what's your thoughts there? I know that you've said that there's been a back and forth between you guys for what, God knows how long. 10 years or whatever.
It has.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on her coming back? Because I'm chomping at the bit. If I could literally do a backflip, I probably would over it. So.
Yeah, I think it's great that she's coming back. Awesome. Good on her. Hopefully she gets to the top again. I'm not sure whether she's coming back as Superfly or bantamweight, but I mean, hopefully we can eventually make this fight happen, even down the track. Hopefully. I've wanted it from the start, so that would be a great Aussie fight. So, I mean, I think it's awesome that she's coming back, and yeah, I'd like to see her at the top again.
Absolutely. So with the Ebanie fight, obviously we want it in Australia, right? Because obviously I wouldn't understand why Eddie would take it over to the UK. To Australians, that doesn't seem to make any sense, but American fighters do that all the time. So,
Yeah.
Would you? I mean, obviously you'd be prepared to go, but do you think it would be a good sell to take it to the UK?
Oh no, absolutely not. But I do know that Ebanie has quite clearly stated that she will not come to Australia. She does not have any intentions of coming to Australia. So
I'll give you an interesting stat in a second.
Because he knows that. Pardon?
I said I'll give you an interesting stat in a second. It'll probably tell you why. Keep going.
Yeah, so maybe Eddie that's why he's he wants it there, because it'll make things easier. I'm not sure, but I mean the fight's definitely bigger made in Australia. More people, the more eyes are going to be on it. If they're that confident of beating me, then it's going to bring more eyes on her future fights in the UK, which generates more revenue for him.
Exactly.
So I think it makes a lot more sense to have it in Australia. Obviously, we want it in Australia. I'd love to have my kids there. I'd love to have, like, you know, everyone that's been in my career for coming up 20 years. I'd love to have them all part of it. If not, I'm sure they're gonna be part of it whether I'm not there, like whether I'm in the UK or not.
Definitely. Well, and I'd like to be there because, you know, going to the UK, I've never been overseas. I'd like to keep it in Australia myself. But here's an interesting stat, and I don't know if you're aware of this, but I said this on the Jai Apatai fight, and this is still true. Every time a IBF champion has come to Australia to defend their title against an Aussie, they have lost.
Yeah, but, I mean, she's an Aussie, so...
Yeah, it's true, but she still has to travel here.
That's true. But you know what? I'll give you an interesting fact. I'm more British than Ebanie Bridges because my dad was born there.
Well, there you go.
So hopefully I'll get some supporters there. I might even have some family still over there.
Do you have dual citizenship? I'm guessing no.
No. I mean, I'm sure I could, but my dad's not alive, so it'd probably be a bit difficult to work it out.
Yeah. Immigration would take care of that. Well, that's an interesting stat. Yeah, because I was thinking when Jeff Fenech won his title, Lester Ellis won his title, and most recently Jai Apatai, all travelling to Australia, all IBF, all lost. So
yeah, wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, even you could even go like Lester when he fought Barry, IBF title defending, lost. So yeah, I thought that'd be an interesting stat. Well, thank you so much, Shannon. I appreciate your time here on the channel at FightView360. We wish you well against Ebanie Bridges. Obviously, we'll be going for you because I'm a Queenslander like yourself.
Awesome.
So thank you very much for joining us on the channel. This has been your old mate Big J, FightView360. Please like and subscribe.